Hi, welcome to the White Filth Vinyl channel. As you can see by the title, this is the year-end video or the album of the year video. Normally we do, or I do, this by myself, but now I have Mr. Athoms with me in the room who is drinking my beers and taking care of productional facilities. What we're going to do today, normally I do 3 separate videos, EPs of the year, fulls of the year, and then a most anticipated. This time we're going to do something a little bit different because we have the power of montage and editing. There will be some guests dropping in to give their top 5. I'm not sure what theirs will look like. I've seen one. The others are coming in or filming as we speak. So we'll see who comes through and what is what. We are listening to the Gorset FM records. Bulgard was nice enough to send me a copy together with a record that will show up later in this video. This is on Dead Shadow Records, low-key one of the best, if not the best label in America, putting stuff out from Carved Cross to stuff like this. So yeah, very good label. Very cool cover also. There you go. This will be talked about and deeper and in-depth when I talk to the man himself, hopefully in the beginning of 2022. So yeah, what we are going to do, this is going to be a 3-parter on my part. We're going to do album of the year list, not on vinyl. Normally this would have been my runner-ups, but I do it a little bit different this time. Then there's EPs and demos and the full lengths, which I managed to get a top 10. The caveat for this is that I'm more pleased with my EPs and demos on that list than I'm on the full. Because it seems that the more fun or the more outlandish stuff is happening there and the more interesting stuff is happening on the EP and demo front than on the full length. Could be that I'm not looking in the right place. There's a lot of reasons that that could be the case, but nonetheless. Here we go. Beer. We're starting off with our quiz or our little contest. I promised I would raffle off the Arcane Archivist Rip Lamb issue 2. I have the names here. Papers, I will put them in my magic little cup. Shake them around. Pick one. It's a deep cup. There you go. There you go. Norwegian Black Cults. So it's going to Eastern Europe, it seems. There you go. I think I have your address, so we'll get in contact. That's that. This is coming your way. There you go. Part 1 is my album of the year or demo of the year because it's all mixed up for this one. Just stuff that, this is basically my want list for 2022, the first part. Things that are held up in customs, things that are still at Charlie's Place, things that are at Ritual Abuse, still waiting for me. So yeah, all this stuff is basically another album of the year list. So here we go. The first thing, and this is my album of the year actually, is Bruine Throon by the Rubrum. It is the follow-up or the brother record to the Bruine Kroon actually. The follow-up to the Bruine Throon. Great record. Le Rubrum does what Le Rubrum does best, but then takes it into a black metal direction a bit more than on the Place Hommage and stuff like that. More on that later. I'm not going to go too much into these because this will be a 3-hour video. The second one is Old Tower, Old King of Witches, the new one. I was in a position, I think in the middle of the year or earlier in the year, that I was burned out on Dungeon Synth. With Old Tower coming in and mixing Dungeon Synth with the more ambient and the more soundscape stuff, it really hits a soft spot for me. Number 3 is Carved Cross with Lamentations, a record I missed from Charlie. It's kind of funny that I got to meet him through the previous Carved Cross, and then now I miss it through him, or because of my own fault, but you know. Lamentations is a more demo sound approach again for them because the fulls were going into a more audible or a more listenable sound. It seemed that this was going to be a tour only demo they were going to sell at their first US tour, but yeah. Hell Conjurer, Hell and Fire, just a continuation of the mighty sound that is Hell Conjurer. Shadow Dungeon, another dungeon synth project that I like because it's not that happy, melodic, you know, elfish stuff. A Crypt of Mysteries, the silver and gold version on Go to Warx, very good records from Bosnia. Till, one of the American guys that is doing it very good. Oyer and Terminer is the records. Yeah, like I said, still in America, waiting for me. Fellwinter, Blood of Victors, one of the tapes that just popped out of nowhere, and there were a lot this year. Just very cold, very, yeah, not medieval, but just a very ferocious style of black metal, which I kind of liked. Burier and Communion with Dead, I think his third full length by now. He has a bunch of, a bunch of stuff. The first track is a really weird thing because it's a guitar build up with a flanger, and it's very, it builds up with, it builds up and it builds off at the same time. It's a very weird thing. The new Odious Hiss, A Vial of Putrid Huckle. I talked about the first demo, I think, with Charlie in the first video, and maybe in my end of the year list last year, I'm not sure, but this one is a step up for them. The sound is a bit harsher, I guess, because of the drums kind of have a more, I don't know, stagnant feel or something like it. Yeah, it does some weird things. Gauntlet Ring, Upon Wings of the Black Eagle, maybe cover of the year. It is just very basic black with a black eagle on it, but it works. Once again, comparable to the Fellwinter maybe a bit, very ferocious, but well done black metal. Then a late entry, the Blutumhang, I'm sorry, The Fires of Domination. It came out of nowhere. It was on Nitztang, one of the labels that really caught my attention this year. Just basically everything is good they do. It's all pure quality. And this one seems to be a Norwegian project. The vinyl was dropped on Alter, I think, earlier this week or maybe late last week. So yeah, something to look into. We are reaching the end. We have Hooked Cross from Russia, the horrible room scene, which there will be a lot more in the coming year out of that corner of the world. I think it's Russian, so Aomabna, something like that. It's roughly translated to coffin. But yeah, the entire horrible room scene from the punk influence stuff they do with, yeah, it's all Russian, so it's kind of hard to explain, but I'll try to do my best in translating stuff like that. Solipsism, another one on Nitztang. Cruelty and Necrospection. It is O from Bosnia, and then this year from Australia doing a very good one too. One of the tapes on Atrocity Altar that yeah, is head and shoulders above the rest actually. Putrid March with Frozen Floodplains. I'm sorry, the Reclusive Goblin, one of the ones from this year. It is basically Dungeon Synth, but it does something, yeah. It gives it a little crackle. It's not just Dungeon Synth. It goes into, yeah, some weirder areas than just the elfish Zelda stuff. So I liked it very much. Carnila Pacte with the self-titled 10-inch, a follow-up to the 12-inch from last year. But this is chopped up jazz, weird folk influences. It's even weirder than the last one. The Tra, I think you call it that, I'm not sure, the TRHA with a umlaut on it, and it's called Atleton, these titles. It is, you can pick whatever record you want from that band, it's all gold. I was going to do the one with the white face on it, but it seems it's already from last year, so yeah. But yeah, very good American band that nobody knows anything about, it seems, so yeah. Then Bes Lutni with the self-titled, once again on Nitztang. It is, we talked about it, me and Charlie, it is the closest thing to Thunderdome, Gabber style, and still in the black metal realm without being black metal. It's just because it's on that label. Go to YouTube, and then I think it's on Nitztang, but I'm not sure what YouTube it's on, but on just 632, hit that mark and you'll see what I mean. And then the last three, Flaming Ouroboros with Uphold the Majesty, self-release tape by an American entity. I don't know anything about it. I just seen the tape pop up. It's the gold one with the birds flying up. I was listening to it because a lot of people included it in their end of the year list. It is good, and I found it weird a bit at first because it has these. It's basically raw black metal, but it has these big anthem sounds, and I couldn't place where they were coming from. But yeah, I was thinking grunge, but then someone on YouTube wrote Smashing Pumpkins black metal, and it was actually on the mark. It has that very positive, uplifting feeling in the riffs. It also, I think in the last track, you also get that quicksandy post-hardcore vibe. So yeah, it does something different, and that therefore it is warranted a listen. Then the two last ones. First one is Black Crude. Once again on Nietstang, it is label of the year in my opinion, especially for the raw black metal division. Delusions of Gangrene, their first full length. It's basically Nachtlicht people with here and there, people thrown in here and there. And they have a split with, once again, a Russian band from the Horrible Room, and it's called Sylvan, I think. And the last one, and this is, for me, this is the EP of the year, or the demo of the year, the Aldrich, the one I talked about last year. They had their full length on Cold Beach. They now have two tapes out. One is on tape, one is on CD. It's all sold out, of course, so I'm looking at Cold Beach for the release. Consanguineous Tales of Bloodshed and Treachery, and then the Consanguineous Hymns of Fate and Famine. Two very storied releases that deal with history of European. Yeah, one song is out of the perspective of a peasant, the other one is out of another perspective. There's a lot of literary themes going on, so it's very worth getting into. The riffs or the way the guitar is being played is out of this world, and it deserves all the praise, and it gets not a lot of praise because I don't see anybody talking about this. And then the last thing I wanted to say is, because my list was finished, and then the Orgy of Carrion boys dropped Thine Origin, Incest and Death, and the there we go, Voyeur's Blood with Mutilation of the Whole 2. I think the Orgy of Carrion is a full length, which I heard the digital file, but the Voyeur's Blood is one of those things that is it still black metal, is it not black metal? All the Voyeur's Blood stuff is excellent in my opinion, all the splits, all the EPs. But this one is something a little bit different, and it steps away a bit from the pure black metal stuff. So yeah, that was it. This is the not on vinyl album of the year list. Remember Aldrich, I guess, is my tip for this list. So yeah, what we're going to do now is invite a guest. Let's start with Petta.
Hi Tom, hi all. A new year approaching. So perfect time to show some albums I like. It's not the best albums of the year because I really don't like the concept. Just 5 albums like you asked I enjoyed. It was quite hard because there was released many good music. So I tried to take or make a selection of 5 different things. Some are quite obvious. So let's start. The first one, the most obvious. What else? What else should be said about it? I think it has been discussed a lot. The new Darthrone. I think it's one, maybe my most favorite from, can you call their post black metal period. They with this album, I think they maybe with Old Star they took another direction away from the more punk or the heavy metal influences, and went more for the old school influences. Something that they always did, like regression. Darthrone is progression with regression. Ka-ching. I really love it. I love the sound, I love the songwriting, the vocals, everything. Maybe my best. although I don't like it. Best albums. Then secondly, Coldovstow, or how you pronounce it, released by Babylon Doomcode Records and Extra Conscious Records. Never heard of it. It's a big mystery who these guys are. People who don't know the band, it said that one of the main influences was the Norwegian band Bag de Sifiel. I don't think it's obvious, or I don't think you can hear it, oh, sorry guys, I won't cut and paste. It's full of mistakes. Bag de Sifiel has a huge battery feeling. There are female vocals, and none of this is present. But the atmosphere of the 7-inch is very similar. It's very distant sounding, quite melancholic. Some people will call it depressive, but I don't like that term. I don't think it's depressive. It's very dreamlike. Sometimes it recalls me to the closing song of Heart of the Ages of In the Woods, The Divinity of Wisdom. A similar atmosphere, maybe more primitive, more rough. Some people say the vocals are okay. For me, they are perfect. They're like in the back of the music. Some very original guitar lines in between. Yeah, check it out. Very good one, this. Then, the third one is from Belgium. 8,000 Sufferings, with an album called Stilte, which means silence in Dutch. Not that much to be found inside. A small CD booklet with, yeah, you know, lyrics and stuff, pictures. And musically, I really enjoy what they're doing, because they're not following like the typical black metal stream of today. I even wouldn't call it black metal. You can hear influences from old Tiamat, I think the Period of Clouds, or the Astral Sleep. The first Alastis album is also something that comes to mind. So it's quite doomy. Much of layers in the music, very heavy, but it's a whole, a whole journey, this album. Check it out. Then fourth, from the Netherlands, Iskander, with a very nice release. Gatefold. Oops. The album is called Vergezicht. Don't know how to translate in English. Google it. With a nice booklet. Same format of the vinyl. It all looks copied or Xeroxed, but it isn't. Thick paper. All the lyrics. Very nice design. And the music is fantastic. I think it's a contemporary take on Bloodfire Dead by Battery. Especially the opening song recalls like the opening of Bloodfire Dead. There's so many layers, multiple guitars, acoustic guitars, clean voices, chants, screaming, everything. It's a massive, grand work. I really enjoy it. It's the second time I will use the word. It's like a journey, like a travel. Every song is different. It takes you to you know, out of this place. I couldn't listen a lot to it because there's so much music, and you should listen to it, you know, focused. Of course, you can play it in the background, but then I think many things are lost. All the small details. I talked about it with Omar. Omar from Turia, by the way, and tons of other projects. And he said, didn't I overdo myself with all the different stuff going on? And I think that's just the strongest point of the album, because it's one coherent piece, but with all different things going on. Not too many, you know, impulses at one time, but yeah, whatever. Check it out. And then the last one of the vinyls is not a metal album. It's a folk album from Greece. The Divine Reeds from Tassos Chalkias, released by Radio Martico. Radio Martico are actually DJs from Belgium, but like Sublime Frequencies, they go traveling, looking for music that is forgotten, like to old markets, old CDs, or music stores, talking to people. Do you have something in your attic or cellar or whatever? They have this portable vinyl player, and if they find something, they try to release it. And this is music for the northern part of Greece, actually where the river Acheron has its source, the river of sorrow. And it's clarinet based music, very old music, going, I think, more than 2000 years back, but which has been you know, learned from people to different generations until now. So it's not dead music. It's still alive in that part of Greece, and it's very beautiful, very melancholic. I think it will speak to many metal listeners in the way of the melancholy that's in the music. It's not like this jolly folk music. It's neither depressive music, not at all, but it's very warm. And I play it a lot. Also, the release is very beautiful. It's a gatefold with inside lots of information about the region, about Tassos Chalkios, who plays the music, with a huge booklet with all old etchings, animals. So if you can find it and you're quite adventurous in taste, look for it. Actually, I spoke about it earlier with Tom, so maybe in one of his old episodes you can hear more. So these are 5 releases, but Tom was so kind to allow me to have some extras. And the first extra is a tape from Up of Rasma, again a Greek word, but from Belgium. It's the second tape. It's very eclectic black metal. You can, I think, how to describe, you can hear the old Greek sound mixed with something from Sweden, something folkish, even some Bluetooth North. There's lots of nocturnity to be heard. Also London, the project from the members of Armageddon and Saiva and so on, the North Fist dude, but not the acoustic version of London, more the metallic version, the album Fallen from Nor, also the band Saiva itself. There's also I wouldn't call it industrial, but you can hear the guy behind it. Scum is his nickname. Has a background in industrial, also some Crude music. There's not really Crude like literally in the music, but if you know krautrock and you know the guy, listen to it, you can discover it in the music. Yeah, it's really good. It's again not the usual American black metal stuff or the Norwegian school of whatever school. It's like something on its own and should appeal to a lot of people who are open to different things. And then to end, the second extra is Halilah. Halilah from Lithuania with an old album, Papudimas. I don't really know many people who are into it. Also the sleeve, and I always forget how to pronounce go to Warrak stuff or whatever. I'm really bad in difficult words. Re-released it. Actually, I was talking with a friend about releasing it myself, and the next day we did some, we were googling the band on internet, and I did before, like half a year before, and it wasn't re-released, and now we found out it already got a re-release. Sold out, of course, but luckily Charlie from Crypt of the Wizard had some in stock, so we got our hands on it. The artwork, and I will talk soon about the music, is different from the original one. Lots of psychedelic colors, while the original was quite black brownish. Also another logo, but the music it's difficult to describe, really hard. Maybe to start is a guy from Poculus, which is in itself also already a strange kind of Eastern European black metal, and maybe that already gives a direction. There's again lots of folk influences. I even shouldn't call it black metal. It's in the background, but it's more dark metal. Some melodies are maybe a bit at the wrong side of the edge, but others are really, energetic. The sound of a approaching storm, battle, or marches to battle, but not in the immortal way, but I don't know, lots of acoustic instruments too, like a Lithuanian harp, a pipe, a Jewish harp, a willow pipe, a tambourine, and keyboards and stones. Stones are used on this album. Yeah, I was really happy to receive this. If you can find it, it's again recommended. So that's it. Bye. Happy 2022.
Peter, thank you. Yeah, great top 5 and a bit. I was under the impression these were going to be 5 minutes, but I think since I know how I can be in 5 minutes, these will all be very long. So to everyone, cheers, sit down, have a beer, because like I said, it's going to be some time till we reach number 1. Peter, thank you very much. Great choices. For me, we're going to do the EPs, demos of the year. I have some runner-ups because I've written down 20 and then chosen about, I think, 15. The honorable mentions, I guess, was the Susa with V like Zviri, I think, from the Bosnian scene. One of the guys, his first solo, it's dead, bit of doom metal influenced, but it's mainly black metal. Very good sounding. It has some folk influences going through it here and there, but not overbearing. So yeah, a good one. I was going to show the Zarabanda Moon with Unseen Forest Patriot, which is a massively good record, but it is a 2020 release, so I had to scratch it. But yeah, all hail Lamb. Larvae with Sickening Cadaveric Perversions. It's always been in the top 20, but it just didn't make it. Disgusting Dennis with his female counterpart doing some mid-eastern European gory death metal stuff. Really good. What else did I have? The Efroy with Sinister Omen demo on Medieval Prophecy. Very good Belgian demo. Yeah, should have been on the list, but there you go. What else? Septic with Septic Eradication. Loved it. Second EP from those guys out of Denmark. Not as good as the first EP, but still very, very, yeah, gory and good. And then the last thing, two more. The Putrefaction 21 demo. I think it's on Headsplit. I'm pretty sure it's on Headsplit Records. Guys from Germany that do this Dead Tomb stuff, but really, really good demo. I have to listen to it a bit more because basically it just came in. It's still on the to listen to or the new tape rec. And then the last thing is the Mons Veneris Untitled EP 21. That is a very good one. It's a 2-track. It's about, I think, 20 minutes, 10 minutes a pop. The first one is more of an, not ambient, but more of a building up ambient track. And it brought to my attention that I need to restructure this top 20 stuff I'm doing, because I'm doing basically the way I do my full or my EPs is that they have to be in the collection just to make it manageable. But I noticed, that's why I did the not on vinyl stuff, that a lot is going by not just listening to stuff, because Mons Veneris, the Untitled EP, is the EP for this year, but it seems an entire full length just passed me by just because it's on CD and I just didn't listen to it. So yeah, I need to work on that a bit, I guess. The rest is on vinyl or on tape, so let's dig in. The first three I'm not going to talk too much about because we talked about it to death in some of the last videos. The first thing is Eternal Tyrants from the Albion Combat Regiment. There you go. I've written down the titles because I always fuck them up. The Horns Sang for War, and then Take the Swords. This is the Horns Sang for War. This is Take the Swords. Two black metal demos that are a follow-up to their Dungeon Synth demo or project on... I'll show that too, because it just came in. Spiritual Disease number 5. There you go. This will show up in the first tape delay video we're going to do. So yeah. Moonblood, Temple of Full Moon, the Poland scene, very inspired by that, but a different thing on their own right. There's English influences in there. We talked about it with Charlie. We both love these tapes to death, so yeah, check them out. Eternal Tyrant, that is the first one. The second one, in the same vein, Occulted Death Stance on Aske and the Mighty, Mighty Fellowfield. English or Scottish black metal, once again I'm blanking on it. Has influences like Flipper stuff, dirty 80s hardcore, but mixed in very proficiently, very well done. This is their 6th or 7th demo or output, and like we discussed, it is the more listenable of the bunch. Yeah, they're doing something very different, and this is a very good EP. I think a lot of the people that are watching this channel are into the stuff I am into are going to really dig this one. If you can't get your hands on it, just listen to it digitally, because you will do yourself a favor. You don't have to do me a favor. So yeah, Occulted Death Stance. Let's do the tapes first, just to make it easy. There's this one. This is called the Hymnera, Travel Through the Night's Diabolical. There we go. From the Bosnian scene. And as with all of their projects and all of their recorded material from the last, I would say, 2 years, they made a huge, yeah, it's just a tape. They made a huge leap in production. They have come a bit out of the murky depths that is the raw black metal, and it's all very audible, very well recorded, very well produced. There is enough raw stuff going on. It's not radio material, of course, but yeah, it is leaps and bounds when you hear the first material by this band and then this one. It has a bit of that unhinged quality that a lot of the Portuguese stuff like Vetala and Mons Veneris has. It is, I think it's a tree tracker, I'm not sure. Yes, tree tracker. That Dance of the Withering Shadows travels through the night's diabolical, which is a title track, and then Awoken by the Claws of Blasphemy. On Black and Green Productions, just a tape that spoke to me from the first time I heard it. Check this one out. I think this is the best that came out of the circle. There's the Knight's Majesty, which also very good, but not here yet. Then, second one, the Tirgul with the Victorious Star. Skierreich Productions, you know, the cult from Holland or the Netherlands. Dam's Revolt and the Spectre in another one of their iterations or bands. The duo that is very prolific. It was said that Blood Tyrant was done and this was the new Blood Tyrant. This is a bit more synth driven, a bit more, yeah, it is a different beast than Blood Tyrant, which I was kind of bummed that Blood Tyrant was done, but it seems because they put up their new sites and then there was a link to the old Skierreich site, and there is a message that Blood Tyrant has recorded a new full album which is coming out in the beginning of 22, so I'm not sure what's going on, but it seems Tirgul is going to be a different entity altogether. All the better, now we have two bands. 4 more tapes. One is Kill the Opposition by Doppel-Ext. Yes, Doppel-Ext. American band from Philadelphia, 3-piece. This one is on Signal Rex, which I found weird that it all of a sudden popped up on Signal Rex. There is a bunch of tracks on here. No, 3. It's just repeated on A and B. Continuing the Endless Fight, Runes Call for War, and My Journey Towards Idealism. Once again, a band that is looking for Middle European, as the benchmark for their sound, but with enough, enough of their own sound to not just be just a copy of the Slavic stuff. It is dedicated to Lamb, which a lot of tapes and a lot of records are in memory of the magician Simon Santana. It's almost been a year since he's gone, so yeah, we're going to do a celebration a bit later in the week for him. But yeah, Doppel-Ext, good bands, and it seems there's something new on the way. We'll see. 3 more. I have to check what I've written down. Amargura with Lastre Mort on Alter Productions. This came out fairly early in the year, I think. Definitely first half of the year. What this is a project by members from the French scene, Garde Noire, and then the Portuguese scene, which I don't know who is behind the Portuguese. I'm not sure. One is totally black. I think it's the people you would expect in there, maybe some IRA members or stuff like that, but yeah, I'm not sure. This is a very good demo that came together with the Trot tape, and the guy from Le Garde Noire, Mauro, hyped me to it that it was coming out, so I picked it up. It has 6 tracks on here. It's divided into 2 parts. One are these sepulchral chants with some croaking vocals that are accompanied with some organ stuff that I think the French guys are doing. And then there's this romantic, almost uplifting sounds, with a yearning sound in the vocal. So it's once again a different sound than we're used to from the French or the Portuguese, but the combination works. There is a definite Legion Noir vibe, but not as raw, different. It's just different. Then this is the first time Niet Stang, there you go, shows up in the EP's video. But this is the Andutzen, I think, and then Helm split. This came out, I think, about 2 months ago now, and I got this through, I think, Narbentage, but I'm not sure. The American labels slowly but surely are trickling into European distros, these small labels, which I think is it's nice of them, and you have to pay a little bit extra just because import tax and stuff like that, but it's worth getting some of this stuff. There we go. If you don't know by now, the Andutzen is basically the follow-up of Geheimnisvoll, because that band has been done since the European tour got cancelled. Andutzen is Skean du Genga, and Helm is, I don't know what that is, Jarn Rijper. Andutzen is basically a very powerful, fast, forward black metal, reminiscent of Iljarn. Helm is a bit more, it got compared to Bildskirner, so more the, once again, the German or Slavic sounds. But yeah, a very good split, and the Andutzen side is, you know, where it's at for me. And then the last thing, and I was under the impression that this was an American band, but it's basically a German band. Once again, it is not on the tape. Xandelaire, I think, with Upheaval of Medieval Darkness. The cover spoke to me in ways you could not imagine. It's basically, tape-wise, it is cover of the year for me, because it's, you know, it speaks volumes of what's on the tape. This is a demo, or it's marketed as a demo, but it has so many. This is basically the 7-inch cover, which is also very good, but I just love the chainmail face. It is a demo, but it's such a good demo that it has all you need. It has fast parts, it has slow parts, it has droning parts, it has building up parts. It is, yeah, it's basically a full length in itself. It has 4 chapters. Banished behind seals of evil in, I can't read it all. Evoken from the ancient slumber, or ewoken, I'm not sure. And the molting of a leopard lore. It's a font I can't read, but believe me, this is a tape checking out. The 7-inch is on Ixial, but this tape is very wordy in itself. That was the Gorset FM. We are now going to switch to a tape. This was one that was on the full list, or is on the full list, but is going to get cut just because I compiled it to 10 to make it a bit easier for myself. This is Winterstorm with Winterstormener on Mahavantara from Chile. Different beast than everything on the table, everything spoken for. This is the rawest material that is going to be shown, I guess, today. This is the private release by the label. Once again, thank you for the hookup. But yeah, check this one out. I think the CD is on Signal Rex, if I'm not mistaken. Just came out. Cheers. Okay, continuation of the EPs. Let's see, 50 minutes, that's great. I have 2 7-inches. I thought I had 3, no, 2. First one is Grinning Death's Head. There you go, on Youth Attack Records. Who would have thought a Youth Attack record would make it into the list? But if you don't know by now, or if you have never known, Grinning Death's Head is JW from Fallow Field's project. And this is basically American black metal. It started out as a more punk variant because it's from Fallow Field. But yeah, I think after the last full length, they made a definite transition into just basic fury-filled hatred black metal. The artwork is done by Mark McCoy, which is low-key the, yeah, I think one of the best ones doing it right now. If you see, maybe not the cover is basically a image that you would see everywhere, but if you see his work on the Full of Hell full lengths, or even this, everything he's doing for Youth Attack and the bands around, it is just incredible artwork. What this is a 2-tracker. One is called Purveyors of Pestilence, and then Acrid Damnation. And Grinning Death's Head, yeah. just the aesthetic with the obi strip coming. There you go. It is maybe the ticket to the next full length, and it's yeah, it's very promising. Very, very good tracks on here, just blasting. There you go. Green and red, 7-inch. And yeah, this is the second time Fellow Field shows up in these videos, and it's with good reason, because what a label. Check them out too. There you go. Belgian release on Medieval Prophecy Records from, I think, the first half of the year. I was waiting for a Perverted Ceremony full length to show up, but no such luck. Cavernous Hallucinations is the EP they dropped. I think 2 tracks on here. Not really sure. This is the promo flyer for that one. There you go. The first ever Perverted Ceremony 7-inch, featuring 2 new exclusive tracks in June 21. Cavernous Hallucinations, and then Inside the Black Flame. The pictures, there you go, in their basements, their moldy basements, but yeah, continuation of their sound. Nothing changed too much. It is lo-fi Beherit worship, but yeah, done to perfection maybe. Yeah, there's more than just Beherit, but to give you an inch of their sounds. Big Hold 7-inch with the baby blue coming through. And as far as labels go within Belgium, Medieval Prophecy is kind of very much up there. They announced their drop for 2022, I think, and it's going to be nothing short but amazing. So yeah, Perverted Ceremony, please guys, full length this year. Where are my 7-inches? I'm not sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 inches, and then we're done with this part, and we'll have a new guest. The first one is the Carved Cross Fauna. There you go. The split 12-inch, and this was on Natte Tale, the Danish label run by the Korpsand Circle guys. I have to look because I've written something down. Vort Fatum Fest, I think in 2019, Carved Cross came to Denmark to play a show that was Faneberg, Carved Cross, Akitsa, and then maybe Old Tower of Vaal. I'm not sure, and maybe one more band. But the guys invited the Carved Cross people to record some stuff at the Mayhem compound, and it became this split. Faneberg is the main band out of the Korpsand, I would say by now. Sollenskvat and Oine Udensin, something like that, Danish. So yeah. They started out as this punk hybrid black metal, once again Ildjarn stuff that came out of the Korpsand circle, but ever since their last full length, and these tracks are a bit older, so these were the precursor to that full length. It is more the triumphant black metal sound they are burning the torch for. The Carved Cross tracks on here are more akin to the full lengths, in the sense that these are very good recorded. The guitar is very audible. It is still very dragging, dirgy, almost dead doomy in tempo, but very good tracks. And yeah, it is Carved Cross. So if you like it, you like it. If you don't, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, good split. Denmark and Austria. The cards, what is this? Second full length promo card is still in here. What I like maybe the best about this one is there's a track list and lyric list, and then dedicated to the memory of Lasse, which is a guy that is still dearly missed in these parts. So yeah, very cool to see some dedications to Simon and to Lasse in these videos, or in these records, I should say. Makes it a bit more special. Then let's see in what order. Let's go with the Korpsand. This one, the Broeder, the two brothers from the Korpsand circle with the Hoyes Smet, I think. Sorry, this is a yeah, what is this? This is a very medieval sounding black metal There's a bit of punk in here, but it is mainly black metal. It has something to do with the blacksmiths, and you can hear armor clanking and hammers on anvils and stuff like that. So yeah, it is a very fully realized, maybe. Yeah, it is not a. I can't think of the word. It is not a. It's not a storied record or trying to tell you something, but it has a very definite theme on here. It is a bit of a departure artwork-wise. It has a weird stamp on there that I can't, for the life of me, can't bring to. Yeah, it's in Danish. Mayhem 2020-21, but I'm not sure. This was Bandcamp only for the band, so it's not through the Natatale or through any of their usual outlets. But yeah, very good records and a very good follow-up to what these guys have been doing, which is nothing short but amazing. Then one witch record had to make it in here. Everything I've listened to in the past year, which was a lot of Grolfried, which was a lot of Friedhof and all that stuff, was all 2020 or earlier. The only Grolfried that was from this year was the Petta Xray, this one. And this is a very good example of the fucked up style that the entire Saarland and bleed out from the Saarland sound has become. This is on Dominance of Darkness and Narbentage. Alle Lieder aufgenommen von 2018 bis 2019 von Siegfried. So yeah, it's basically one and the same guy behind all these projects, if I'm not mistaken. This was one that came in the drop with a lot of other records like the Moorgeist and stuff like that. One-sided 12-inch with the, there you go, nice etching logo and two dudes, same dude. But yeah, some witchy. Is it dungeon synth? I don't think so. It is just so removed from what Mortis and stuff was doing. So yeah, it is something different, and I think we coined it Zelda Core last week. So maybe it is that. But yeah, it had to pop up somewhere. There is a card, basically a magic card with the Moos und Efeu production logo. There we go. Two more and two bangers. One is a split on Nistang, not again. No, it's on Dead Hymns. This is Nachtlicht and Grundhirde. Once again, the guy from where is this name? I've written it down. Skia Dugenga, the guy behind. I'm blanking on the title right now. The Amdutsen and the Geheimnisvol. Now has the Grundhirde split with Nachtlicht. Nachtlicht is the Canadian troupe that I had some problems with at first because I couldn't get into their sound. It was basically because I was getting out of the raw sound, or because my head was filled with the raw black metal stuff. But looking back at it, looking at what they were doing in the past, and now listening to their full length, which dropped today on Black Gangrene, yeah, it is very worth delving into. My 2 cents go to the Grundhirde. I'm not mistaken, right? This is the Grundhirde. Yes, Grundhirde. My 2 cents go to that side because I just like his style, I like his playing style and what he does with all his bands. So yeah, he still gets the drop on Nachtlicht, but only slightly in this one because this is basically the best material both bands ever did. The penises are free on this one. They decided to do some naked nightly pictures. Okay. Gamsrum and UG, I think, or UE, and then Gian Dugenga. Never forget the cult. I guess that's the Carrion cult, which brought us a lot of stuff. Slave House, for example. On Dead Hymns, like I said, a very good American label once again. They had some stellar releases this year, especially that Blue box, which I basically still need to get, but the money, there you go, split. And then, last but not least, almost half an hour, which is perfect. The Forbidden Temple, let's be a bit chauvinistic and show a Belgian release. Very good EP, I should say. They have the new Step into the Black Pentagram, I think, which should be out this year. It was going to be one of the records of the year for me, but it got delayed. And instead of, you know, dropping it as a digital file, they just waited until it comes out. It's going to be, I hope, 2022, but I'm not sure. But yeah, this is released by Gramschap, the Sortileges 12-inch maxi single. Very cool cover. I once again forget who it is or what it is. The guys told me, but I forget. The pictures on the back are simply two of the best pictures taken this year to be put on a record. Yeah, I know one of the guys and I have a great relationship with him. The other one is just, everybody who talks about it says he is unreachable. He is the weird guy of the bunch, and that says a lot looking at these pictures. Sound-wise, it is a continuation of their 6 demos they dropped before this one. But yeah, I am hoping that the full length will blow my mind. But this was a very good precursor to that full length. So yeah, Forbidden Temple, basically my #1 EP for the year. Who would have thought a Belgian release would make it to the top? There is the promo flyer. And the other one is also going to be on Gramschap. So yeah, that's it. This is the second part for me. We are going to do another top by a guest, and this time it's going to be Bulgad. Alex, take it away.
What's up, everybody? Bulgad here, doing a quick 6-album long video for you. My favorite records of the year. I'm doing this for Tom, for White Filth Vinyl, and I'm doing it as an homage to him, so I'm going to adjust the volume on the music we're listening to. I will also tell you the name of what we're listening to. This is Trist Dodd with Die Herrlichkeit, The Glory in German. It's a one-man project from Pennsylvania. This specific album is one of my favorites of his. I think he has 4 total. It didn't see a physical release, so I didn't include it on the list, but it's definitely up there with my favorites. Yeah, there's 6 records. I only own 3 of them, like physically, so I'll show you the physical ones I own, but everything else I'm just gonna jabber on about, and I'll superimpose an image so you can, you know, next to my face so you can look at it. #1 is Brulvanatu, Shining Nagas Territory. This is a one-man band from Canada. It's been around since, I think, the mid-2000s, early 2000s. The main guy, Kib, or the only member, is named Kib. He's played in a shitload of bands. These days, he is known as a member of the Salal band and various other War Vellum-related acts. But for a long time, his main deal that he was doing was this band Brulvanatu. This is a 4 LP masterwork of, I guess, blackened death metal or black death metal. Really long fucking songs. Every song's like at least 10 minutes long, pretty much. This thing goes across 4 LPs, 7 sides. The last side's blank. Some of the most diverse, interesting, compelling music of any genre I've heard in many years, but definitely my favorite album of this year. This is just the hardest someone has worked on anything that I've heard in a long time. So for that reason, it definitely deserves the #1 spot. Shout out to Death Hymns for putting this out and incurring whatever insane costs come along with it. #2 is Occulted Death Stance with Feathered Serpent. This is the physical release. Has 2 spiky cones and a rusty nail painted black. I've left the physical tape upstairs, but it's on a green tape. This is industrial noise metal from somewhere in the UK, I believe Scotland. This is music for geniuses only. You can't be an idiot and enjoy this. If you enjoy this, it means you're smart. You know what you're doing and you know what you're talking about. It has elements of metal, guitar, also elements of industrial metal of that sort. So lots of different kinds of metal. That's why I like just calling it metal, because it's like physical metal, but also like the genre, you know, like every kind of metal is involved in the making of this. It's like Godflesh, but also like fucking like Spear of Longinus demo style stuff, but also like Posh Isolation style raw shit, all with just layers of noise and you know, digital fuckery. I recommend listening to it online, actually, not on the tape. The tape is amazing to have, obviously, but the version online on YouTube, if you just Google it or YouTube it, sounds way better because you can hear all the production elements. So yeah, that's my number 2. Number 3 is Portent with black humors and sour chasms. Humors is spelled like the old antiquated medical word, not like, you know, laughter or comedy. This is put out by Pallid Vesture. It is reminiscent of bands like Misery's Omen, Stargazer, Virus. Has a sort of progressive metal element, but is mainly, I think, black metal. You'd call it Black Death, maybe. It reminds me of Brovanitu in a lot of ways, but is a bit proggier in the way it sounds, like the production and like the tones, and maybe some of the riffage too. Really good long form songwriting, really infectious and bizarre riffs, just some of the most creative stuff I've heard. I think like creativity per minute on this actually probably outpaces this. This is like a better bang for your buck, sort of, in that sense. But this is just an accomplishment because of how long it is and how good it is consistently. But this thing is fucking like tight. Like, this is just a great fucking full-length album. And I wouldn't ask anything more of this, you know? Sorry, video got cut off. I was saying this is maybe a better bang for your buck than this, just because of how cheap this record is and how, you know, maybe compressed the quality is. Like, he barely even repeats riffs, you know what I mean? It's just like excellent progressive metal, like well executed. Yeah, really fucking good. Nothing else to say about it. You'll enjoy it. Number 4 is Vanyar, White Mountain Oath. This is Tolkien black metal from the UK, put out on Legion Blotan, and featuring, I think, some of the, you know, the cast of characters you'd expect to be in bands that are put out on that label. I don't know who's in it, but like, you can tell it's like the same dudes that are in all those bands. But it reminds me, speaking of all those bands, it reminds me of white metal in a sense, just because of how good it like knows when it's good, you know, like it just picks a couple riffs and repeats them until it decides it's time for a new one. I was gonna say until the riffs get tired, but they never get tired, and that's why they use those riffs, you know. It's just like really a high quality repetition, I guess. But this is Tolkien black metal, they've described it as, with really good guitars, vocals, and keyboards. Those are the 3 best things about this. The guitar tones are just so tasteful, amazing, like rehearsal room sound. The vocals sound like a SpongeBob character, but in like a really oppressive way. They're very excellent. And the keyboards, they use a sort of pitch shifter wheel or something on the keyboard that they're using to give it almost sounds like a slide guitar, just gives it a sort of psychedelic effect. It sounds like you're going to war in a cartoon while on some sort of, you know, hallucinogenic drug is the best way I can describe it. Really fucking good black metal. That's number 4. Number 5 is Hammergilde or Hammergild with Viking. This is from the Netherlands. It's some like, you know, quasi-NS band. I don't know really any details about like the dude or dudes who are behind it. It just sort of came across my lap. I don't own a physical copy for a number of reasons, but I've listened to the files like endlessly. This is really, really well executed pagan black metal. Like, if there were even 2 albums across the span of like a couple years that were this good at, you know, nailing the pagan shit, then I'd be very grateful because I love that kind of music. But I haven't heard anything like this in a long time. Like, there's a lot of pagan black metal coming out right now, and it's shit compared to this. This is like the real deal, so check that out. Number 6 is Undeciphered with Beneath the Gentle Smile. This is, I think, Ed Kemper themed, so, you know, some serial killer stuff. Slam, as you can tell, brutal death metal. Features this dude Paolo Paguntalan, I think that's his name. Nikhil Talwalkar, I think. Those are both Americans. The first dude's from New York City and the second dude's from Connecticut. And last guy, who I think is like the main composer and, you know, in charge of like the production and stuff for the band, is from Spain. His name escapes me. I think it's Oscar something. But this is really intelligent slam. This is like not like stupid technical, like for the sake of being technical slam. It's still like totally berserk and violent, and it doesn't get too lost in space, but it just reminds me of like the best slam I know. It reminds me of like Chapters era Defeated Sanity, but with like a sort of New York City attitude that shit lacks. Almost like a hardcore element. Like there's no hardcore in it. Don't get that confused, but it just has a sort of blue collarness that I think a lot of slam lacks these days. Either because the people are, you know, just like weird like scholars from Europe, or they're like, you know, teenagers who have never had a job. Something about this, like you can hear the frustration in it and stuff. And it's ironic I say that because that kid Nikhil who plays the drums is like 16 years old or something and has like a million bands. But in any case, that's my number 6. Really fucking good slam. I suggest you check it out. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching. Back to Tom.
Thanks, Alex. We'll talk soon, I hope, for a second Bull God update or a, you know, grondwerk, whatever. In the meanwhile, we're listening to a Sylvan tape, which I rediscovered just because I dug into the horrible room scene, and this came to me to the Corda Raid label, I think 2 years ago. So, like I said on Instagram, if it wasn't in Russian, I probably would have noticed them a bit sooner. But yeah, very, very good material, and there will be a lot more coming in. What we're going to do next is the full length. I will cut them into 5 and 5. I managed to, to make a list out of 10. I had 20, but I had such difficulty in picking them that I just said, fuck it, let's do 10. And these are basically 10 records that I really enjoyed listening, that were on heavy rotation throughout the year, or even throughout the last month. There are some records that are spanking new. There are some records that are older in here. But yeah, all records that just were, like I said, in heavy rotation. I will mention the others just because it would be a shame not to mention them. They're all good records in their own right. The Kasteider, the self-titled first full-length or demo, whatever you want to call it. The Halilah War Upon Man is bar none one of the best covers. It is a very good one-man black metal project that can go pound for pound into that scene and just win a lot of stuff. The Holder record, which I listened to again this week just because it popped up on a lot of lists. Very good on the Iron Bonnet one. And then the Spectral Wound, A Diabolical Thirst, which is a record that was adored by a lot of people, it seems. It had that weird cover with the guy head down on the table. And I think it's one of the black metal records that pierced the veil of black metal and got a bit picked up by the, just other people listening to a lot of other things. What else is on here? The Phrenoloth with Chimera. Should have made the list, but it just came in last week, so I haven't listened to it too much. Wardum Rife, same thing. It is just such a dense record with a lot of De Mysteries Dom Satanas worship, but enough once again to have their own thing going. Fourth full length, so they know what they're doing. Let's see, the Moorgeist with Hex Helcarax or something like it. Really difficult to pronounce. Once again, very much in tune with the Mos en de Feu scene, but something completely different. It's not Dungeonson per se, it is not the Hexen stuff, it is, something different. Morbific, Ominous Seep of Putridity, Russian death metal kids, basically, that recorded their full length in their high school gymnasium. It's an ominous seep of putridity. It's the best way to describe it. They hit it out of the park with the title. Winterstorm with Winterstormner on Mahavantara, which was just playing. The Gargantua with Urmystique. It has vocals that are recorded through a phone. I've listened to it a bunch. It has mouth harp. I forgive him even that. It is a very, very good record. The Clandestine Blaze with Secrets of Laceration. It is a more heavy metal-ish record for Clandestine Blaze, which is a very hateful, powerful black metal band normally. Last two are Jevel with Tanker som Rir Natjen, I think. Yeah, Norwegian style black metal that is it's a very sharp record, I would say. Very good, nothing more, nothing less. And then the last thing I want to say is Alkerdale with Slonk, another Belgian release. It just didn't make the top 10 because that's how good the others were, but I've seen them live 2 times. They keep building on the sound. Yeah, I want to see them more, and I'll probably see them more with their release show coming up in February. Let's hope we'll make it there. Then, did I have everything? Yes, yes, yes. Unkfell is on here. Listened to it a bit, but not much. And then 3 that are really worth mentioning, but that came just too late in the year, are the Ancient Records, the Multuvium, which is going to be out of this world. I heard 1 track, and based on that is going to be an excessive record. Paquette Nexamu, once again, triple vinyl, is going to be excellent. Then last but certainly not least is the Ustalost with Before the Glinting Spell Unvests, I think. The Spore of Vipers was one of the records of the year for 2018, I think. Yeah, very, very good USBM. There we go, into the first 5 full lengths of the year. The first, we're going back to the Korpsand circle, is Gabstock with, here we go, Eingang Raden, Altid Raden, I think. I still don't know what it means because it's Danish. Gabstock is the, most listenable or the most commercial, if you will, which is saying a lot. Out of the Korpsand circle or out of the Korpsand stable, they incorporate a bit of heavy metal, a bit of black metal, a bit of not dungeon synth, but 80s horror inspired synth stuff. It's a bit of everything, and they keep improving with every record they do. This was one of the bands that me and Wacht really bonded over. And yeah, it's a shame that he didn't get to hear this one, because this is really, within their catalog, this is, I think, the best. It comes with this crappy ass yellow lyric sheet, which he would have loved, of course. And then a poster that kind of tells you what the sound is. It has that, horror, Stephen King-ish film poster that goes with it. So yeah, Gabstock, which means it is this medieval torture device that they lock you up in. That's what it is. Very good records, and yeah, please, another one this year, just on black vinyl, yellowish green center labels, but yeah, a very good duo out of Denmark. There you go. Second one, Baksak Saksa with, I have to see, Catacomb Cult, German black metal band, which is just, it is a extremely fun record. It is also a very serious record. Here is the promo flyer. At long last, nearly 30 years after their original formation, which is insane, Baksak Saksa released their debut album. If you don't understand Mortuary Drape, Roots, Hungary's Tormentor, and early Samuel, Very Late Mayhem, then you don't understand Baksak Saksa. And you most certainly don't understand black metal. The past is life and death with Catacomb Cult. There you go. I saved this flyer for half a year just because that quote was on here. Sinister Flame put this out. They are a label that does not do a lot of releases, but what they release is basically all very, very good. The previous material was all on Iron Bonehead. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the guy from Iron Bonehead, Patrick, is in this band. Yeah, it is from track 1 to track the last one, Temple of the Seven Keys, but especially the first Catacomb Cult. It sets the pace for this record, and it's just, like I said, it is very serious. It deals with very serious stuff, but it's also very fun to listen to. It is, yeah, a record that warrants a lot of spins. Just black vinyl, very simple, nothing much to see, but it gets the job more than done. They all have these, every release from the demo to the EP to whatever has this black and white angel-esque or devil, whatever you want to call it, artwork, which all fits. I think the previous one was called Devoted to Him or something like it, but yeah, very good record that will get a lot of spins. I will probably play it next, so I'll put it there. Some death metal in this black metal bunch. This is Cerebral Rot with, here we go, Execration of Morbidity, something like that. Mortality, Execration of Mortality. It was going to be this or Putrefaction. No, the other one, Mortiferum. Mortiferum. the debate rages on. This is on 20 buck spin. And I chose this one over the Mortiferum just because it is just a bit more nasty than the other one. This has, the sound is a bit more in my lane, it's a bit more, I don't know how to describe it, but it has, yeah, a more fun vibe is not the right way to put it, but it's just, it grinds a bit more than the other one. They have this weird little Eddie mascot, like the new Iron Maiden. There you go. 20 buck spin, which is heading into a quite a year. They got Worm going for them, and now they have Holder too. So it seems they put their arrows on black metal too. Nice pink record, and I have to thank Boekhouder for this one because he secured a copy for me. This comes with a huge poster, which is but ugly, of course. But yeah, I think their previous record was also, or showed up in a end of the year material for me. I think last year or 2 years ago, I'm not sure, but yeah, very good, rotten American death metal. And I hope Killtown 2022 is still a go, because I want to see these guys really bad. It seems Denmark has the worst case of corona in the entire Europe, so we'll see. What's this? Oh yeah. The second to last for the first part is Vaal with Het Vagevuur. Vaal is kind of becoming the house band, if not that we use it to announce these videos. Once again, from the Dutch Skikkerij scene. I talked about this band a lot in the last 2 to 3 years. This came out this year, their new full-length EP. You tell me, it has 6 tracks on here, so yeah, the debate on what's a full-length rages on. But this was on New Era Productions, limited to 500. This is copy 453. Umbra, Oude Gedachte, Lijkendaal, Wolfmaan, Het Vagevuur en Vergankelijkheid. Now, it seems, if you believe the rumors, that Vaal is done, but yeah, Blood Tyrant was also done, so I'm not sure. Is it as good as the previous full length? Maybe not. It is a bit harsher, that is for sure. It is a bit early Darthrone worship, but once again, enough of their own sounds to make it their own. I like it a lot because it is in the top, but I don't know if I like it as much as the previous one. Just because the track Dodesheimen on the previous one had that hook, and I'm a sucker for hooks. So yeah. Grimly recorded and produced at the Lone Enclave, mastered by Herrian, so Hayden's Hart production. Comes with a nice booklet. They have the best photos, these guys. There you go. So yeah, the lyrics are in here, which is always nice. It's all in Dutch, so nothing for you to hear. What is in here? Promo cards with the Damned Revolt records. And then there's this New Era bingo a lot of their releases. I have a bunch, of course. The record is basically just black, but a very good pressing, as we are used by New Era Productions. Colorful center labels, and it seems it's doré artwork, but without the figures, so not sure if it really is doré. But yeah, very good follow-up to the last full length, and I'm going to give it a few more spins in the coming weeks, because it's one of the records that popped up again, because I was listening to a lot of stuff, yeah, to make this list. So it caught my eye again, or caught my ear again, I should say. And then the last to round off part one is this one, which came in, I think, last week. It's one of the newer records in the bunch, and it's Reveal with Double Hertz. It is so good, I instantly bought the Scissor God 2, their previous records. Swedish band. I described it as Brain Bombs meets In Solitude, and that is partly true. I described it like that because I listened to the first 2 or 3 tracks maybe. But yeah, it still holds up. It has that post rock, not post rock, but that rock vibe in there. It has those elements, like I said, Brain Bombs and In Solitude. It has those sounds. It has that production. They are from Uppsala, so yeah, it all works out. I even kind of starting to warm up to the cover. Still like the other one better with the Unganga stuff going on the cover, but yeah, it kind of grows on me like one other album of the year that had to grow on me. It comes with this big ass poster, which has a continuation of the artwork. But yeah, check it out for yourself. I glanced at Charlie's video, and I think this will be in his top 2. Comes with a printed inner with the lyrics on there, and I think it's just black. There you go. On a Sepulchral Voice, which is a weird label for them to come out on, since they are doing weirdo death metal and stuff like that, but I think it kind of fits that they do. So yeah, Reveal. There you go. That is the first part of the top full lengths. And speaking about Reveal and speaking about Charlie, let's see his top 5. Charlie, take it away.
Hello and welcome to the Wizard's Corner. Thank you very much to Mr. White Filth for asking me to do this. I'm going to try and get through it fairly quickly. These things can tend to ramble on. First off, a couple of caveats. One, I'm not a record reviewer. I run a record shop, and I listen to a lot of records every year. I know what I like, and I enjoy getting other people to listen to them too, but I don't expect any wonderful, great insights. I don't necessarily have anything particularly intelligent to say. And then secondly, I think the whole category of like end of the year lists, album of the year and all that sort of stuff is getting more and more complex as time goes on. Facing like a huge vinyl shortage like we are now, the chances of the record you love coming out the same year it was released on Bandcamp or tape or CD is unlikely. So sometimes it's hard to say exactly when it arrived. I run a record shop, so usually once it's on vinyl, I'm aware of it as a physical thing, often tapes too, but until I've got the record, I tend not to even listen to a lot of stuff, because it's almost like a method of managing the hundreds and hundreds of releases that come through the shop every year. I try to give everything some attention, but it's very, very difficult to listen to that much music a year. But you know, woe is me. It's not that bad. But anyway, that said, yeah, this is basically some of my favourites of the year that things I've really enjoyed. Also, I'm going to assume that people watching this have watched plenty of the other videos, interviews that I've done, and lots of other White Filth videos, and there's loads of stuff that we've already spoken about. So I wanted to speak about a few things maybe we had only come up briefly or we hadn't really touched upon yet. So yeah, here's some stuff I liked from this year. It's not that big a deal. And then one more thing. My obvious record of the year, really, truthfully, is this Heavy Sentence, Bang to Rights. Came out this year on Crypt of the Wizard Records, which is the record label that I run. So obviously I have strong feelings about this record and strong feelings about this band. First came across them when Night Rhythms put out a 7-inch or two and they played a gig in London. And that just aggro, motor punk, new wave of British heavy metal sound, but you know, thoroughly energetic and full of life and not some sort of attempt at pastiche. Like a real engagement with a sort of sound that I love, and I think many people do. And getting to work on the album and put the album out has been a huge honour. So obviously, album of the year, crowned king is Heavy Sentence, Bang to Rights. I haven't got many copies left, so don't muck about if you want one. But you know, repress coming sometime in the next 20 years by the sound of it. So moving on, some records that I really like this year. One that I think has kind of slipped by a little bit now because it was kind of towards the beginning of the year. I haven't heard many people talk about it or put it on their lists. Is this Hand of Glory, Ceaseless Negation of Colour and Joy. You know, a very important release this year. The passing of Simone, who was the guy behind the project, has obviously touched a lot of people, and I'm included in those people. I was very sorry to hear it because I've enjoyed his output for a long time, in the various guises, all the way through to sort of Royal Hounds and Sanguine Eagle, and the more punky stuff through to obviously Hand of Glory, which I imagine a lot of people will be familiar with. This record is spectacular, like all of his output has been, and worth taking some time to engage with. It's not easy listening, you know, it's something you don't just throw on. And I took some time yesterday actually to do that as I was compiling some stuff for a radio show. And the third track, which I forgot what it's called, really struck me as being sort of, you know, quite a spectacular piece of work that will go down and be remembered. Another record that, yeah, I mean, technically, maybe I don't know if it came out this year, but, you know, it came out on vinyl this year. A UK band, and I'm really happy to say that, a UK death metal band who are excellent. Vacuous, and the record is called Catabasis. The band is formed of some younger people who used to come into my record shop when they were teenagers and talk to me, and you know, it's always great when you see that progress from people being young and getting into music and buying records, and then, you know, a couple years down the line they come back to you with their own release. I'm just sad I couldn't have put it out myself. It's fantastic, this EP. You know, for fans of Spectral Voice, for sure, it's got that sort of death doomy sound. There are not many of these records left. They've been flying out, and I don't just mean here. I mean everywhere. So I'd really not miss this thing. Give it a go if you like that kind of sound. You will not be disappointed. And this is a band to be watched. There's a full length coming in 2022, and I'm informed it will be released on Misako and Oho Records. You know, after Crypt of the Wizard, obviously the second best record label in London. That's worth every minute of your time. Let's do another one. Tyran, the Swedish hard rock heavy metal. They might know a lot of chords, but they don't use that many of them. Very simple, very straightforward. Arrived in the middle of the year, just when it was sort of sunny outside, and I wore this record thin. Just proper sing-along heavy metal anthems all the way through. Out on the spectacularly impressive and always wonderful Electric Assault Records. Just, you know, almost perfectly consistent back catalogue, and coming out of New York, run by the fine young Henry, who you know, has been dedicated to the scene, putting out great stuff all over throughout the years. And his relationship with Tribulation obviously led to him being friends with one of the members of this band, and this is something of a supergroup. There's members of a few different bands in there. But if you like, you know, fist pumping, cheesy heavy metal, this is your album of the year for sure. So you know, get one of them. I think they're running low as well. This is all stuff. Everything's hard to get these days, right? Let's go on to something that probably other people are going to talk about as well a lot. But this record, Reveal, is the name of the band, obviously. I haven't put much effort into learning how to pronounce the name of the album yet, but Doppelherz, I guess, is about right. Huge fan of this band, have been for a long time. The first record I thought was great, and but really I was moved by some of the first 7 inches, which I really still enjoy. I think they're one of those bands that they're really hard to get any purchase on. It's difficult to describe quickly what it is they do and to understand what motivates it. They certainly don't fit easily into any specific categories, and of course that's the sort of thing that gets me pretty excited. So I'm always interested in what they're going to put out. I was privileged to book them to play Muscle Rock a couple of years ago, and it was one of the best live shows I've ever seen. And what I wanted out of a record from this band is something that encapsulates that live performance. And I'd say this is the closest they've come so far. There's definitely a more consistent and coherent sound on this record than maybe there is on some of the earlier efforts. Although some of the high points on those records are some of my favorite high points on any record. But this has a more sort of consolidated feel. It reminds me way more of In Solitude than any of their earlier stuff. And that is sort of from whence they come. That world is something that is obviously big and influential on them. But there's definitely a death rock backbone here, with plenty of heavy metal in there still. But it's their approach that is so black and so singular and so evil that is makes this thing its own beast. So definitely check out Reveal, Doppelherz. It's up there with the finest records of the year, no question. There's a couple of records that I've got less to say about. I just enjoyed them. Upon the Winds of the Black Evil by Gauntlet Ring came as a real surprise. I was approached to sell some copies in the shop, and I did. I had no expectations. They flew out in seconds, and I've really enjoyed this. Just good old school black metal done right. What can you say? What else? Let's have a look. I've got piles of stuff everywhere. I wanted to talk about some reissues that I really enjoyed as well, because that's it. Record of the year, album of the year, tape of the year, whatever. You know, reissues of the year also really important. And then, you know, I start considering what a reissue is anyway. I mean, there's things that came out. Not to enjoy the new Road for Revenge. My video cut out. Maybe they get stitched together and this is all beautiful and seamless, and maybe not. All right, I tried to do it in under 15, but I didn't. Whatever. What can I say? Thank you so much. If you're in London, come see me, Crypt of the Wizard, 264 Hackney Road. If you're not, cryptofthewizard.com. Check it out. I've always got something for you there. And if you're in Europe, we can get records to you. It's not hard. Everyone's saying it's impossible. It's not. I've managed to sort it out for just about everyone else, so don't worry. Worldwide, easy. Right. I don't know how to end this. There you go. That was some records that I liked this year.
Charlie, thank you. I knew we would have some overlap, but that's how it goes. Thank you very much. Thank you to all the guests. I hope we'll find room to put in one more. We'll see. We're listening to Baksak Saksa. Told you it was going to be next. Enjoy. Yeah, we've reached the end for me. I will do my thanks list because I thank a lot of people all the time, but I never actually thank someone. So 5 more records for me, and then we are done for this year. We're going on a short holiday. Let's go. These are not in order. These are basically just all my number 1 records. I couldn't choose between these, but here we go. Blinding Sun with The Magic Mountain. I have the vinyl in hand. Thank you to Alex for sending them my way together with the Gorset FM. The tape is still at Ritual Abuse headquarters waiting for me. Thank you. To the guy selling it to me. I don't know if he wants his name out there, and thank you to Ritual Abuse for keeping it for me. Blinding Sun is the second, or the Magic Mountain is the second full length for Blinding Sun, or the yeah, or the third release, I'm not sure. There is a lot going on with this record. I know Bulgard commented on his own record on YouTube, is this a record I have to read books for or something like that? And yeah, it seems so. There's a lot of explanation going on here. It has something about a hotel in the Alps, the Hotel und Kurhaus Berghof. So yeah, there's some info or non-info on the back. What this is a very personal take on black metal, but it's so much more than black metal. There is a lot of it's. I know him and I know all the styles he's playing and all the bands he's in and all the baggage he has music-wise, going from Died to all the things he does with Bulgard label-wise, and then Blinding Sun. I think he's one of the guys who is coming up, very young people, and that is something that I noticed this year, that a lot of people I talk to, like Stian from Black Blood, who is 18 for crying out loud, who has such a knowledge that it kind of puts my shit to shame. So yeah, a lot of young guys coming up in the scene. Alex is not the youngest, but he's up there or down there. Blinding Sun is incoherent, rhapsodic, literally futile. So yeah, all music and lyrics by Self, with inspiration taken from Thomas Mann, H. Lau Porter, and Franz Schubert. Yeah, let's do some quotes. There are two ways to live. One is the common, direct and brave. The other is bad, leading to death, and that is the genius way. Thomas Mann. So it's a very literary record, and it just keeps on growing every spin I give it. Is it because I know the guy? Maybe. It has the edge a bit, but just from the cover to what's on here to what's behind it, it is just a masterpiece. Gets thrown around, but within that sound or within that part of black metal, why not? Very beautiful white disc. I think there was a white and a black version, and this is once again on the ever awesome Dead Shadow Records. So yeah, Paul, thank you very much for sending these my way, because I don't think I would get my hands on it otherwise. But yeah, there you go. Blinding Sun, Magic Mountain. Check it out. Then number, I don't know, 4? Yeah, 4. Palmore or Pelmore, I'm not sure, it's French because they're from Canadian Quebecois, Quebec. Tour du Nord is the records. Like I said, this could easily be my number 1. Canadian black metal on Tour de Garde. The cover and artwork is done by Spectre, and this is the cover I was talking about. It had to grow on me, because if you look at the picture of the angel, it looks like a Down syndrome angel, but then I re-looked at it and I finally saw it. It's not the face I was looking at, it's a different face. So yeah, it works for the thing that is on here. It has a Burzum Philosophen reference, if you will, with the toot. Yeah, it's blue pink on the backside, so it's a bit weird at first, but it kind of fits the aesthetic of what they're going for. Sound-wise is very Lost in the Snow, Nordic, Ice Winds, whatever you want, but it has a very French feel, like early Peste Noire. There is some Seigneur Volant stuff going on here. So yeah, very hard French, aggressive stuff. Yeah, it's a trio. Salas, Pelmore, which is the main guy, and then Marché Noir, I think. So yeah, it's Quebec, French, English. You get it. But yeah, a very good record that keeps growing once again with every spin. And I put it aside for a bit, but it just came back with a vengeance. Fire Breathing as the cherry on top on the center labels. So yeah, if you are into one of the things I just said, is it the French sound? Is it the Quebec sound? It is not the Ifrenach Canadian sound. It aches more to the French side of things, the more hateful French side of things. But yeah, check this one out. You will not be disappointed. Then one that came in kind of recently. This is from the last Crypt of the Wizard drop, but in the last 3 weeks, maybe a month, it shot up the ranks. And this is the latest Shatan with Earth. I was under the impression that it was more of a, because it is on Go to Warx, more of a black metal records, but knowing Shatan from Weight of the Wolf, which the postcard is still on the altar, comes with the Go to Warx sleeve. It is, yeah, it's hard to put, it's not post-punk, it is a bit of everything, but this is very influenced, in his own words, very influenced by Kiss. So there's a definite heavy metal vibe. There's some parts that are aching back to the Black Twilight Circle past he has, so there is some remnants of black metal, I would say more in the structure than in the sounds. It's kind of hard to describe because it has that death rock or that post element. Yeah, the cover is insane, the artwork is insane, it is Go to Warwick, so you know you have great quality in the sleeve. But yeah. Cover image, Earth by Giuseppe Achimboldo. I don't know that guy. Indifferent Nightmare is the name or the brand he is going by, and he was or is one of the guys from the Crepúsculo Negro, the Black Twilight scene or the Black Twilight Circle. One of the surviving members, because I think it dissolves, or it dissolved some time ago. Walk alone, dream, drinking my tears, unholy innocence, breath, die in isolation, and your eyes belong to mine. Very, very good records. If you are into that sound, or if you are, you know, if you were into Way of the Wolf, you will definitely love this one. But like I said, his love for Kiss kind of shines through in some places. It is a dark, translucent blue. There's a black version also, but yeah. This is the Go to Warx blue one. But do yourself a favor. This one, if you're in the States, it's available from, once again, Indifferent Nightmare, the site or the Bandcamp, I'm not sure. But yeah, these are still available from the man himself, so get on that. And then it's a toss-up to one or two, like I said. The last five are just records that were in constant rotation. Let's do this one first, so I have the other one to talk about. This is Worm with Forever Glades. The guy himself, Phantom Slaughter, dropped this one, I think about 3 months ago now, I'm not sure. We did our talk on this channel, which was very enjoyable. Thank you again, Phantom Slaughter. This is the tape version, which I have to thank Jules Adderibroet for getting it for me from 20 Bucksman Direct. The vinyl is postponed to 2022. What this is a Dead Doom masterpiece, in my opinion. He doesn't shy away from naming or pulling his influences. There's a lot going on here. He has, it's not literally copy-paste of his influences. He takes the influences and makes it into his own, and then creates an entire song out of all of these influences, going from black metal, death doom, funeral doom especially. And it seems there is some new material already on the way. There were tracks that are going to come out as an EP that are left off of the Forever Glades, and then this new material should be more in the black metal realm. So maybe back to his past with the tape he did for Altar. It is just a masterpiece. The singles that they dropped were Murk, Above the Dark Moor, and I think Empire of the Necromancers. Beautiful, stellar tracks. The only thing I can say about this this release is that it's maybe front-loaded, that the two last tracks are maybe a bit meandering here and there, but it still fits the total aesthetic, or the aesthetic of the total record, so it all fits really nicely. But yeah, I think he cut the two tracks because otherwise it would be a double album, and I think it warranted a double album. But you know, I'm not Phantom Slaughter, I'm White Phil, so what the fuck do I know? Just already looking forward to new material while still really enjoying this one. And then the last one, cheers. This should come as no surprise. but yeah, maybe it does. There you go. Stormkeep with Tales of Other Time. Pretty new record, I think about a month old now. This is the guitarist for Blood Incantation doing his black metal project, I guess, on Van Records. This is pure Norwegian, Swedish ice synth-driven worship, if you will, black metal worship. Harkens back to early Immortal, early Emperor. There is some dissection worship on here, not worship, but influences on here. It has a lot. Yeah, it deals with wizards, it deals with whatever you want. It's sometimes a bit on the cheesy side, but the more I listen to it and the more I spend time with it, that goes away, and it's just a, I don't know, a fun record to listen to with, yeah. It's better than the EP in the sense that it still has those medieval Ren Fair interludes, but the tracks on here are so worked out and so layered, and whenever you think that you reached the pinnacle of the track, it just adds another layer. Synth work is on point, the guitars are on point, it's all very well produced. If a synth comes in, it's not a synth, it's an organ, so it's very organic sounding. Yeah, this is the download code, which I still need. Did I show the sleeve cover? And then the back has a dragon curled around the the track list, I guess. Comes with a map, I already showed it in the last video, and then the booklet is a half lore, half track listing. But yeah, if you listen to the Seer is the first track. If you, by any chance, you're into black metal and you haven't listened to this records, digital or on vinyl or on CD, the first track, the Seer, just, yeah, it has hooks for days, man. Vocal hooks. It has these male choirs that just, I don't know, it does something to my ear, and it keeps pulling me back in. It is not just a one-man project, it is a full band by now. So yeah, some pictures in here, and I think this is the main guy, Grandmaster Oten Bermitrax Poison Tongue or something like it. No, there's the cheesy part, but yeah, isn't it all a bit cheesy when you're dealing with dragons and shit like that? So yeah. Number one, Stormkeep. Van Records reigns supreme once again with the foil spotted dust sleeves and whatnot. That's it. I'm going to cut here. Maybe we'll see one more top 5, or maybe we'll just have my thanks. If you see my face, it's because our fourth guest bailed on me, which is not a problem because, let's face it, this is long enough and you have more than enough music to dig into. What I wanted to end on is a thanks list, because every video I say thank you in general, and I mean it. Thank you to all the people who subscribe, keep watching these videos, who comment, who participate in, you know, trades, buying records from me, because let's face it, the fact that I'm selling records is the reason we get to do this, because if I had to buy it all myself on my paycheck, it would be done pretty soon. So cheers to all of you. Who I want to thank is a quite extensive list. If I forgot some people, sorry, but yeah, I want to thank 3 YouTube channels to start, or maybe 4. The Rites of Pestilence, the No Gleaming Light, which is basically Greg Beale, but then renamed since last week, and the Mao da Gloria. 3 basically black metal channels that are promotional channels that loads these, that upload these demos and then everything you need to really get into what is black metal these days, what the genre is, where it's going. So thank you to those 3 guys. The 4th one is Midwestern Abyss. He hasn't had a lot of content, and we were going to do a video just because we did a trade or a, you know, continuous friendship care package, whatever. So ads, thank you, my man. Hope you have a better year next year. Then the thanks list. Terminus podcast, and especially the Black Metal Guy, the one who was on Instagram. I'm not longer on Facebook, so I don't know the Death Metal Guy, but very good, in-depth podcast, very critical. They dare to do negative reviews, something I haven't been able to do, but, you know, I don't buy bad records, I guess. But yeah, Terminus, definitely check that one out. Weekly, they started doing 4. I think they do 2 records now, and maybe some extra. But yeah, very, very good podcast. Then Black Blood, the zine with Stian Masticator from Norway. Great guy, like I said, 18 years old. Unbelievable. Shiver, Arcane Archivist, and Brain Smasher, they did the zine of the year, in my opinion. There are probably some better, but I don't know them, so yeah. Charlie, Crypt of the Wizards. I mean, 2 videos in a row that are basically fire, and more to come. Phantom Slaughter, thank you very much for the video. Thank you for everything. I wish I got that promo tape. I saw Schnell got one, so why not me? Danny, go to Warx. There will be something in the future, maybe. We'll see. He just keeps on, doing some great releases. He has the Black Putrescence 7-inch. I basically did a go to Warx order last week, which is saying something. And I hope you get the Prime Minister, man. Bull God, Alex, should be there. Petta and Alkerdeel, we did Grondwerk. I have to thank Jo, Babylon Doom Call 2, who started Grondwerk with me. It was basically the podcast I was going to do, but once again, couldn't happen due to a lot of stuff. But Petta, Alkerdeel, thank you very much. Ritual Abuse Records from America, aka the Donut Hall Gremlin. Thank you. He is my new US hub. I think the box that will come in is going to be 2 videos at least. It is a very new, very good US label that is going to kick off, I think, in 2022. Jan, Hatework, always a pleasure. Thank you very much. Ainul Iblis, aka Osman from Bosnia. Thank you for putting me straight this year. It was necessary into a debate we don't have to go into right now, but yeah, thank you. The other Brut crew, Jokke, Jules, and the one I'm blanking on, but met in real life this year. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure. Mavantara from Chile. Yeah, not going to go into all the things. David Bmot, thank you for the beers. They were incredible. New Era crew, Jeff Dawnbreed. Then Nistang. We had some great conversation, and it seems we are in the same business. So, cheers. Forbidden Temple. Yeah, we have some great conversations, and I wish I get to taste the beer, but yeah. Spectre and Demsrevolt, Skierreich. It's hard to keep the conversation going because they get online, they disappear offline. I think they're offline for good now, so we'll see how we get there. Medieval Prophecy Records, Jay, thank you for everything you are doing for me and for my thing. Incredible. Gao from Red King, thank you for the introduction with Charlie. Thank you for the conversations, all good. Louis Bolt Havens, I should say. Yeah, you gave me my first written part in a zine, which is a milestone this year. So White Filth writes these days. Sid from Rempart Immortel, or Sydney. You know what you did for me, so forever grateful. And you have one of the great Belgian labels. Lugubrum. I mean, it should be a drinking game by now on this channel. Every time I say Lugubrum, drink. Hutch and Pit Crew from England. Incredible. Atrocity Altar. I talked to him a bit, but not enough. But yeah, great. And then the last one's Alex from Black and Green Productions. It has been a pleasure for 3 years in a row. I never did a thank list, so it's a bit extensive. I wanted to get everything. Daniel from Till. Thank you. Mauro from Gare Noir. You had some stuff for me this year that was incredible for fair prices. So yeah. Xultis, you should have been in the top EPs, but alas, there was no stuff to talk about. And then last but not least, Flat from Horrible Room. We had a nice trade this week, and it will be fruitful for the next year. So thanks to all of you, thanks to these guys, thanks to Athoms for coming in. And I think 2022 is going to be a great year. It could be all downhill from here, or it could be the grandiose year we've all been waiting for. Production-wise, it seems it's going uphill. So yeah, let's keep it at that. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in 2022. Peace.